Welcome to the live tampering edition of The Party. I'm going to wear this soundbite out.
Luke Inman at Luke_Spinman. Kirk Cousins, who cares? We already got our guys. Johnny Munn, Blake Brandel, come on down. Kwesi does it again.
Hey, this is Reef with the Wide Left Substack. Before the show, we were discussing how Luke Inman's chair has performance anxiety. That'll be the topic of this week's live stream.
And I'm Luke Braun from Locked On Vikings. Are you all ready to get disappointed?
Locked On Sports Minnesota podcast. It's endless Minnesota Vikings talk with the diverse voices of your local experts. It's time for the Minnesota Football Party.
Welcome in. Free agency tampering has begun, and we are going live on the Minnesota Football Party. I'm Sam Ekstrom. You met Luke Inman, Luke Braun, and Arif Hassan. We are here every Monday and Thursday talking Vikings football here on Locked On Sports Minnesota. Please subscribe to the channel. We would really appreciate it. Let's get to 7,000 subscribers by the end of this live show. I think we can do it. You can also hear us after the fact, after the live version, on the Locked On Vikings podcast feed, wherever you get your podcasts. Also find it on the SiriusXM app. Lots of ways to watch and listen to Locked On Sports Minnesota, which is brought to you by FanDuel. New promotion right now at FanDuel. Bracket season is starting. Say goodbye to busted brackets because FanDuel lets you bet on every game of the tournament, whether you're betting on the big upset or the one seed. Time to go dancing at America's #1 sportsbook. New customers get $200 in bonus bets if the first $5 bet wins. $200 to put on point spreads, money lines, Cinderella picks, and you can pick the champion, of course, at all times. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon, FanDuel.com/lockedon. Bet college hoops. It's tournament season at FanDuel. All right, gentlemen.
Play a sound.
Right off the bat, baby.
Already?
Yep.
What do we have?
Bears signed running back DeAndre Swift.
All right, running back off the board.
Wow.
You know what? I'm already
Viking
concerned.
killer.
Yeah.
I'm concerned the Vikings aren't getting their guy. Options are coming off the board. The Vikings need to be aggressive. And of course, I'm talking about kicker. Zerline.
Chase McLaughlin is
re-signed.
gone.
McLaughlin.
Oh,
Yeah.
Fair
McLaughlin was the target.
Options going
That
off
was
the
the dream.
board right and left. So I'm obviously concerned about that. We're going to be watching the Twitter timeline. We'll have the updates. Will the Vikings be bringing Christian Wilkins to Minnesota? That's the Diana Rossini steam, and it's as soft a steam. It's as soft a steam as you can get. Basically saying Christian Wilkins is coveted by many teams, including the Vikings, Browns, Lions.
Yeah, it's like here's the 16.
Yeah,
You're right.
the Vikings, every team
Very
wants
good
Christian
defensive
Wilkins.
tackle, coveted by many teams.
If the Vikings had to go Hunter or Wilkins, knee-jerk reaction, who would you prefer?
Hunter.
Hunter
Why is this is not
Hunter? Yeah.
controversial to me at all? Yeah.
It's not even
Wilkins
not
is
even
like
a question.
very good. Wilkins is very good. Don't get me wrong.
I
Hunter
love Wilkins.
is like a top 6-ish, 7-ish, 8-ish edge rusher.
Yeah.
More important position. I think he probably ranks higher at his particular role.
What's the price point too? Maybe. I mean, either way, wherever Wilkins is going, he's getting the bag. Maybe Hunter, you get a little bit of a hometown discount. Probably not much. He's ready to get paid. I get it. But something. Okay.
You're getting a hometown penalty, man. He's not
A penalty. Like you owe me. Dude. You owe me.
But because he's already because of the void years, it does get a little easier to do it. It's just like money will get deferred and stuff, which has always been what's happening with him.
Yeah.
But it's a lot easier to do it now with Hunter than it is if you wait till Thursday.
This is also the steam from Tom Pelissero, who has said this a couple times on NFL Network this morning. The Vikings are still negotiating. Major air quotes. I think that it's all a faux negotiation, but they're still negotiating with Kirk Cousins, but he's testing the market. The market is obviously open for business now. He will be negotiating right at the start of the tampering window, according to Pelissero, with Atlanta. And I think this was a done deal when Kirk Cousins posted Instagrams of him rummaging through old VHS tapes. You only do that if you have a big transition coming in your life. I mean, you're not doing that if you're just staying at home.
I'll say, so like last night, they like the tweets were like, it's 50-50 with the Vikings. And I was like, look, if a deal wasn't announced last night, it's not 50-50.
It's not, yeah. Look.
We're like multiple tweets that are like, hey, they're on the fence. And it's like,
Can we just say what is abundantly clear? That the contract is like pretty much been worked out at the combine, and it's just nobody can admit that because that's snitching.
Right.
Also, that box of VHSs almost seemed like a fake, because who has 2 copies of Rudy and Uncle Buck? Now, obviously great movies, but it almost seemed like something was off there with that box, because that's just...
He wore out the first copy, obviously.
Yeah.
Is that what happened?
Yeah,
okay, fair enough.
It's magnetic tape. You know, who knows what can happen.
If you're going to have 2 of anything in that box, though, it should be Field of Dreams. So for me, little red flag. I don't want to go too far.
John Mulaney eviscerated Field of Dreams in the Oscars last night. I don't know if you saw that.
Didn't watch. I believe him. I'm not going to engage in.
I only saw the
Danny
Danny DeVito, Arnold Schwarzenegger reference to Batman, Michael Keaton Batman. That was good. But yeah, I missed that one. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, check that out. Kirk Cousins is likely gone. Pelissero also hinting that the price tag over $40 million annually. I would predict that this thing's going to be almost fully guaranteed with Atlanta. I would be surprised if it wasn't.
What Pelissero said.
9 consecutive years on fully guaranteed deals, and if he can get that, why would he stop now?
How much
believes
do
the
you
40
think
mil?
the Baker new contract changes anything at all for Kirk Cousins? Maybe it was cheaper, they're less guaranteed than you thought. Anything change at all after the Baker contract?
33 a year. Yeah, I feel like that makes it hard. Like with that coming out, and then Pelissero saying 40 mil fully guaranteed right away. Like for like that doesn't add up to me. I feels like those 2 players shouldn't be that far apart.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if they
sound worthy, but you know, you might as well because you love the sound.
I kind of do feel like they're a little further apart, though. I don't know if Baker Mayfield has the reputation or the
Buffalo,
the time on task. I guess
maybe,
like,
I guess,
like the reputation might be different.
Yeah, I guess end of the day it was about 50 guarantee. I thought Baker might actually make more money than that, to be honest. So, yeah, I was just curious.
So I heard that Baker and Tampa were super far apart at the combine, far apart. So he also thought he was going to make more money than that. But I think
maybe he didn't find the market he thought he would, and Kirk did.
Right. As soon as his agent started talking to teams around the combine, I was like,
yeah. Well, it's basically it's basically a 2-year, $50 million deal. Basically, I mean, those are the guarantees at least, right? So we'll see.
A lot of news around the league over the weekend. Vikings did not do much besides re-sign Johnny Munt. They also re-signed a few days ago Nick Muse. Seems like they are content at tight end. We'll get into that as the show goes on. But let's stick with Kirk Cousins here as we await a possible leak about his contract terms or confirmation of the Falcons. What is his legacy in Minnesota? If this is the end of the road, 6 seasons with the Vikings, he finishes 3rd in team history in passing yards, 2nd in TDs, and 1st in win percentage of quarterbacks with 50 or more starts. Better winning percentage than Tarkenton. Fran. Better winning percentage.
Yeah, because Tark had all those early 60s years.
Oh, yeah, that's rough. Sorry, man.
I just think that we only deify quarterbacks in this market that make runs. Like, we deify Dante a little bit because he had a couple teams. Yeah. Keenum, Wade Wilson, Kirk Cousins.
Mike Jones says Kirk Cousins' legacy is $200 million per playoff win.
I kind of think Kirk Cousins is a little.
We deify Wade Wilson. Sorry, that was a bit of news.
Luke Braun certainly does. He has like a
shrine, but Luke Braun did a whole nerdy history thing. That's different.
Joe Cap. Is he in the mix somewhere?
That's who I deified Joe Cap.
Yeah, everyone deifies Joe Cap. I 100% deify Joe Cap. That dude fights.
Yeah, that dude was getting fights well into his 70s. What a legend.
Yeah. About
Swinging his
beef
cane
from
around.
like 40 years prior.
Yeah, from Canadian Football
Canadian
League beef from the 50s.
Yeah, I got rules.
There will never be another like him. Okay, I've got a question here. I think Arif tried to get you to play the sound, but we moved past it. But you can play the sound on one.
Cool. Great.
It's like Dion Dawkins is getting cut. We in?
Yep.
Whoa.
He posted like an Instagram story that was like, it was good while it lasted, Buffalo, and he's walking.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then he tweeted out his own Instagram story with a bunch of walking emojis, which I appreciate. I actually really like that move.
Hard reset by the Bills.
Hard reset.
So Dion Dawkins,
everybody.
Dalton Reisner, where are we at? Is he left guard or right guard? I don't know.
Oh, isn't he a tackle?
On it. I'll do some live PFF research.
It doesn't matter.
I got you.
He's extremely good, and anybody who signs him could just play him wherever. They'll be fine. You can play all 5 positions. Yeah.
But was he more of a tackle or a guard in Buffalo? I thought he was a tackle.
He was a tackle.
I could be wrong.
In Buffalo, he was a tackle. At Temple, he was a tackle.
Yeah.
But when he was drafted, there was a lot of discussion about moving him to guard.
Right. Okay.
So you're going to sign Dion Dawkins as like the most expensive guard ever? No way. I mean, he's a left tackle. No.
Interesting, too, for his market, because this tackle class at the top is really rich. I mean, there's 8, 9, 10 tackles that could go in the first 40, 50 picks in the draft, too. So it's just going to be interesting to see where he ends up landing, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know that his. Yeah, given that, I just don't know what his market is going to be like. This is an insane tackle class. There's potentially 12 offensive linemen that could go in the first round. The last Dan Brugler mock draft had 11. Plus Jordan Morgan at 33. Like it'd be tough to find a market.
I will say too, I think it was Pelissero was on Rich Eisen or NFL Network or something, just like 24, 36 hours ago, and they asked him, hey, give me one kind of wild card thing that nobody's really preparing for that could happen. And he goes, well, it's not necessarily the most exciting thing, but basically get ready and buckle up for a lot of these guards, not no-name guards, but like middle tier, maybe slightly above average guards, to get the payday, to get a lot more money than people think. And you'll get some reactions like, wait, who got how much? 17, 18, 19, 20 million a year? Maybe Dawkins ends up being in that mix now too.
Kirk Cousins' legacy. I want some more thoughts on that. Like in 10 years, how are we going to view Kirk Cousins' career?
Wow. I got by Dion Dawkins himself.
Wait, what?
You guys?
Yeah, that's real.
Come on.
Adam Schefter just I'm checking the follower count. Adam Schefter just tweeted
telling us
3 year, $16.5 million extension. I'm pretty sure he just was messing with people.
Incredible move.
I was going to say that made like no
have nothing
sense
but
to me.
respect for
He's
it.
so good.
That's so good. Yeah, I can't even be mad. That's so good.
Yeah. All right.
I got a darn Scheftered by Dion Dawkins.
Dude, Daquan Jones tweeted at him, bro, what?
He got his own team.
Dude, if you actually knew his personality, this is right on cue with the kind of guy he is too. He loves joking around. He loves trolling people. So this matches up. This is hilarious.
That sounds like Senior Bowl intel from your Senior Bowl.
It was one of the best interviews I literally ever had. Yeah, wow. He was phenomenal.
God, that rules. Now I wish he was in the Vikings locker room.
He was good.
So much for the Dion Dawkins left guard dream.
Yeah. Kirk Cousins' legacy. He's a guy. He's good. I think in 5 years he'll be underappreciated. But I don't know that there's much of a legacy here, right? Because you're right. It's about deep runs. People are going to remember Case Keenum way more fondly than they remember Kirk Cousins. And it's inarguable that Cousins is a better quarterback and that in any particular year, Cousins is going to give you a better chance to win a Super Bowl. Doesn't matter. It's not how it works. So
it's a context thing. When he came in 2018, it was here's a team that just went to the NFC Championship, didn't have a serious quarterback. Now they have a serious quarterback. This should be a Super Bowl team. Never even sniffed it. Never even got close to being considered like a true contender. The one time they won 13 games, everyone agreed that they were entirely fraudulent. It wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they proved it by completely falling apart on one side of the ball.
A fraud team that makes a deep run suddenly becomes a Cinderella team, right?
Yeah. 2008 Cardinals.
I was just thinking 2007 Giants, but yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, that's the deal of it, right? Like that roster was complete in 2018. That was a defense that was firing on all cylinders. Diggs and Thielen, Dalvin Cook, like that team was ready to contend.
Yeah.
And Kirk Cousins was supposed to get them over the hump. You can't argue at all that. You could argue that he was pretty good. And what is the value of pretty good? And we've been arguing that for 6 years incessantly. But in terms of legacy, this was an experiment that failed. And I don't think there's any way around.
Actually, yeah, well, I mean, that's a good way to put it. The comments that we're getting to this video are actually a really good demonstration of probably what people will remember his legacy as, fair or unfair, right?
Yeah.
So we've got a comment from Mark Lapoma that's saying, check down Charlie. Absolutely not what Kirk Cousins did at all. Not characteristic of his play style.
Yeah, but people will say it forever, yeah.
Right, but if you play what you could reasonably argue is a safe version of football, which okay, maybe, and then don't get it done, that's your name now. That's who you are now, right? So yeah, I mean, like great stats, one playoff win. Technically, both of those statements are true, and it is, I think, again, tremendously unfair to him to characterize him that way. But that's what the game is, right? Like you step into the $35 million guaranteed contract Thunderdome. That's what the game is, right? That's it. So,
Javier Roder, do you guys think he's a Ring of Honor guy? That's a good question.
Oh God, probably not. Even though
I don't think so.
Like
Tommy Kramer's not up there, right?
Yeah. Is Brad Johnson in the Ring of Honor? Because that's who I would liken the legacy to a little bit. Now, he did it for a couple more years, but Brad Johnson had a better winning percentage than Kirk. Now, he didn't meet the criteria I had of like
the 50 starts.
But
I wonder why that is.
But
1998 week 1 starter, Brad Johnson. You could give him all the credit if you wanted to.
Yeah, that's what we remember the 1998 season for sure.
Yeah, it's like QB wins, but to a season.
I like what Adam said in here on the stream as far as just like Zim not being really flexible with, because I think about these 6 years, right? And of course, I mean, I always knew this, everybody knows this, but this probably cemented just the thought process home even more so, is just how important coaching is too. Like you go back to the beginning, 2018, John DeFilippo, right? He did Kirk Cousins 0 favors. I think he really took too long to figure out maybe some of the things that, Kirk does well and things like that. And it just took too long to adjust. 8-10 weeks, it felt like, to really finally get him going and get on the same page and get comfortable. And then on the bigger scale, you got Zimmer, the Zimmer factor, them butting heads so much, not feeling supported. I think you saw how much that affected Kirk Cousins as well. And then you bring in KOC. And QB wins. Okay, not a stat, not a thing. 13-4, though, best season of his career in year 1. And then in year 2, statistically, the best season of his career, game by game anyways. So, I mean, we all know it. It's not a secret, but coaching is just so huge, especially for quarterbacks. I know we had this conversation a lot last year, and I think now more than ever, I think that quarterback to coach relationship has to be on the same page and in sync. And if it's not, you're going to have to work that much harder at everything else as a team, I think.
Yeah, I think that case by case, I think you're right, Luke. I think fans probably got weary of hearing those kind of coaching excuses for Cousins over the years, time and time again. Well, he had a defensive-minded coach that didn't want him. Well, he had a first-year coordinator in Clint Kubiak. He had an offensive coordinator that got fired mid-season in 2018. The blocking wasn't good. Well, the defense wasn't good. It was that type of stuff every year that was always, in some fan sections, letting him off the hook, saying it wasn't Kirk Cousins' fault, where I think it became clear he was never going to overcome. He was not a quarterback that could overcome a lot of adversity. He just wasn't. I think you have to be top 5 to 8 in the league to do that. It's a rare trait, and Kirk Cousins didn't have it. Let's get more into the free agency opening of the tampering window. Other positions you want to see the Vikings target. Will they make a huge splash?
Before that, we got to acknowledge the best comment so far from Jacob Lawson.
There's a
Joe
lot of
Webb, Ring of Honor. Joe Webb,
True.
Ring of Honor?
True.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep.
I am behind it. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
What was his
Yeah,
RAS score? 10?
You got to interact with chat more, Sam.
Haven't you ever live streamed before?
Come on, man.
Hey, were you the one who was flashing the comments earlier, or was I? There you go.
There it is.
Yeah, there you
Now
go.
we're playing
Joe Webb,
along.
Ring of Honor. Great take. Fantastic take. By the way, someone asked me what flavor of Naked I'm drinking. It's the strawberry banana. It's what they had on DoorDash a week ago when I actually ordered it. So there you go.
This is the hard-hitting live news we need.
The groceries
on this show.
from DoorDash, not just the restaurant food. Well played. All right, quick word here in the Minnesota football party, and then right back at it.
Hope it's from DoorDash.
Brought to you today by eBay Motors. I'm just going to leave you guys on the screen so you can do nonsensical things. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophies, also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance, from superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time, or your money back, because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers.
Burn rubber, not cash is a pretty good line. I got to give it.
Burn rubber, not cash. eBay Motors. Minnesota Football Party, part of Locked On Sports Minnesota. Please subscribe if you're enjoying the live show as we await some relevant breaking news. Please, Vikings, do something. You've waited 32 minutes.
Someone do something. Well, someone mentioned in
2 minutes.
Chat. Someone mentioned in chat, and then also this was a tweet from one of the insiders. I don't know, Rossini, Pelissero, whoever, that Cousins was holding up the whole market. And until that happens, we're just gonna have to wait.
That's it.
Until we get like some of these.
It makes sense.
News coming in. Yeah,
because like if the Vikings are waiting to know about Kirk before they do Danielle Hunter, and how many teams are going to be like sitting there watching for Danielle Hunter, making that the first thing they want to do?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And like I mean, and it impacts like. So any team, so like Denver, Washington, Atlanta, will also have their own internal.
Yeah, and then they have their thing. It's like the whole deal, like chain reactions across the league. We're all just sitting there waiting for Atlanta to finish this thing out.
Yeah, maybe going live was a bad idea, Sam.
Is there a doomsday scenario where Kirk walks, always. Which I think the Vikings have been planning for a week or two? I think
they seem pretty okay with it.
I think that became almost like, okay, if this comes together, great, we'll be happy, but I think their plan A quickly became like, let's do something else. That's my take on it. I think they've had this contingency planned for a bit. And we talked about playing, these alternative quarterbacks, the Tannehills, the Darnolds, the Brissetts, who I'm fond of. And I think you guys are too. But what's the doomsday scenario? I mean, would it be you don't sign one of these other
team sold, move to San Antonio? Then we can all be free.
Is Red McComb still with us? Honest question. Is he still
honest question?
Yeah. I don't think
there's no way to know, unfortunately.
Purple pride, purple pride, purple pride.
Yeah.
My wife and I have wanted to start like an app, sort of like a flashcard game on an app. Like, are they still with us? And then you guess, and then it's yes or no.
I thought you were going to say face back.
Bonus point.
Kind of like a death pool app. That's
at least twice a month. I say, is that guy or gal still with us? I don't know.
Yeah. So so your name a guy is just old celebrities. Got it. That's fair. I should have expected.
I like that,
actually.
But I mean, what's stopping me from just Googling that guy instead of opening up the app and then
because now you got to be more gamify it and monetize it.
Okay.
That's why.
Like you could probably look up the Wordle answer every day, but what's the fun in that?
I'm spending $1.99 on this death app again.
It's worth it.
Honey, you got the Wordle in one again. That's amazing.
They have to go through all the celebrity deaths and update the app's database, like in real time. Which that's a lot, especially if it's Red McComb specific. Like that's a lot of celebrities that you have to pay attention to. I don't know.
Is the chat telling us Red McComb's like date of death?
Never trust chat. That
Red
first rule of live stream
passed away last year.
Never trust chat.
Never trust.
Never trust chat. Verify it yourself even before you said it. Like you just made a mistake. Verify it yourself before you even say it out loud and read the chatter. It's just not how it works.
He passed away yesterday. That one's true, though. That one. I hear what you're saying, Arif. You're right.
Luke, clearly not listening.
I got a feeling about this guy. I like it.
This is what's cool about this live show is that Sam can't edit this out.
What do we think about Gluke 99's report?
I 100% believe it. Yeah.
How much of that is in kombucha?
I was just going to make a kombucha reference. Beat me to it. Well played.
Gosh, I think about that once a year, or maybe once a month. I think of
the kombucha thing. It's
I think about
so
the
funny
thing, and how that
one of my favorite all-time Viking stories.
Blatant
it's
cover up.
So good.
Yeah,
like that it were to have occurred 15 years prior would have ended up in a John Boyce video. That's so stupid. It's so funny. Of course, it's too recent.
Okay, so what is the doomsday scenario for
well, obviously Kirk walks. They don't get Darnold or Brissett, or I don't know, Tyrod Taylor.
They miss out on all their free agents. They miss out on the draft, and it's like a Nick Mullins season.
Trey Lance. I like my boy Random Planets comment. Trey Lance.
Hey, what if they just went into the season and did nothing and sucked, and then did nothing with that too? Hey, that would suck.
Right. And then the next part of the doomsday scenario is that what everyone's saying about this quarterback draft class turns out to be true. Right? There's nobody available. It's like Shedeur Sanders, and he's like a second-round guy or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like the 2022 one.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, okay. Are we gonna really?
Oh yeah, and then you got to trade away JJ. Thank you, Tim. That too.
And then you have to trade away
but then you miss with all those draft picks. You don't get anybody else. Although I feel like in that scenario, they'd have like a whole bunch of cap space, and national media would be like, the Vikings are on the up.
Oh yeah, and then they signed a bunch of free agents that don't do very much. Yeah,
that also I think is a big part of it, right? Like, okay, you spend a bunch of money in free agency, which is never really okay.
Like the Patriots with Mac Jones. Well, they spent a ton.
Yeah.
Like, didn't they spend $300 million and surrounded Mac Jones with talent?
Right.
You
push all your chips all in because all of a sudden you feel like, okay, we got more money to play with. The bridge quarterback crashes and burns, and then your rookie isn't set up and doesn't look up to speed. He looks lost. Now all of a sudden you're not necessarily like a Panthers situation because you didn't mortgage the future, but you're going into 2025 not feeling like we found our guy for sure. Do we know yet after you spend all this money to be competitive in free agency? So that I feel like would be one of the doomsday scenarios for sure.
I mean, the Vikings have $139, I think, million of cap space in 2025. This year, even with the Kirk cap hit, they still have.
Because they don't have a roster.
30.
I was going to say, so after like Darisaw and JJ, what does that look like?
There's
play the sound.
A bunch of Harrison Smith money that won't
stay.
There's Hawkinson.
All right. My breaking news is that I Googled it. Red McCombs did die last year.
Oh, okay.
R.I.P.
The chat was giving conflicting reports.
Yeah, I know. Someone said he was alive, but they saw him at a.
This is real. This is big. Pelissero, the Vikings are signing edge rusher. Who is it? Who am I going to say?
I saw it.
DJ Wanham?
Okay.
I don't know.
It's somebody that we've talked about, Jonathan Greenard.
Oh,
wait, what?
So I gotta actually watch him now. Who had the take we were making fun of that he was better than
Seth Walder? I think
Seth Walder. Well, guess the Vikings agree.
That's really funny.
Wait, what was the take by Seth?
That Jonathan Greenard is better than Daniil Hunter.
Oh man!
But I think that's like a run stop win rate, run defense win rate take. Or
hey, we did an edge wish list like a month ago.
It was also a pass rush win rate take. But here's the interesting thing. I think Greenard had a higher pass rush win rate by ESPN's tracking metrics.
Okay.
But he had a lower pass rush win rate in total and at each down and distance than Daniil Hunter in Pro Football Focus's pass rush win rate, which is charted by hand or by eye.
So what are you saying? Which one should we trust more, ESPN or PFF?
PFF.
Okay.
Greenard, 31st on PFF last year overall and in pressures, the same ranking, 26 years old. This might signal the end of Hunter, though. Like that's
like one of the bigger names.
Or Wanham and Davenport, those guys are for sure.
Well, let's be honest.
For sure.
I think
there was some
Davenport
talk
is
about,
still on
hey,
the table.
bring Davenport back for cheap.
I know we've got people in the comments saying he robbed the Vikings last year. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
But also for that reason, he's not going to cost you that much. He still has great, like,
he costs you $5 million that you don't have to pay till next year. It's like,
yeah, you can get this guy back along with Greenard and have a piece. You can have a body in there for cheap for 1 year. So I'm actually an advocate of bringing back Davenport. Greenard, in his career, 4 years with Houston. This is a classic Kwesi signing, coming off the first contract, still in their physical prime. He turns 27 just before the season.
Kind of a Rick Spielman move.
Yeah, I was going to say, Spielman's MO for sure.
Certainly had his best year last year. Didn't play more than 500 snaps until last year with Houston, but definitely did well with 14 sacks, 53 pressures. This is a big move. This is a big move for the Vikings. 6'3", 263.
This is their Danielle Hunter replacement. So now we get to compare those two for the next 3 years. And if Danielle Hunter is better, I'm going to get really annoying about it.
I mean, this offers a lot of clarity in the first 40 minutes of the tampering window that Hunter's probably not back. I don't think Cousins is coming back. And there's two of your big three. Now, when do you extend Justin Jefferson? That probably doesn't come for a bit.
Where are you guys at now? Are you saying 90% pretty confident Hunter is not going to be back?
Here's the thing.
50-50?
They need another edge rusher.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. I mean, it's not over till it's over, but you're not rolling in with Jonathan Greenard and dudes. We need
Andre
more
Carter.
Right.
I mean, they
have
Andre Carter. We'll see if he makes
draft picks.
You mean on the draft picks, you're going to trade up to get a quarterback?
Are they re-signing Kirk then? Because they need, some of those draft picks for a quarterback potentially.
They need a lot on defensive line. So, I mean, it might not be Hunter specific. Maybe they get another edge rusher, but they need, if they roll in with that and then they bring DJ Wanham back, I'm going to be pretty pissed off. That's not good enough.
It's like the Moneyball bit, right? It's like, why sign one Hunter when you could sign two edge rushers?
You can sign a whole bunch of worse players and then lose more games. But that sounds great.
It's the same.
You get on base a little bit more often, man. It's fine.
Hunter was listed as the 12th free agent on PFF. Greenard at 39. But his contract projected 4 years, $76 million. I mean, they're not going to be able to afford that and a Hunter deal. No way.
I thought we were just talking about how much money they have in 2025.
100% can.
100% they can afford that. It's not even people I don't think have looked the numbers up.
Especially if
they have a ton of space.
Yeah, I'll tell you what too. You go get Hunter and pair him up with Greenard. All of a sudden, it just feels like and
I think it's compete with each other on win rate.
We're assuming that, okay, maybe they draft a quarterback with their first pick, but it does give you a lot more flexibility than with that second and then fourth, fifth, sixth, those other draft picks now. And otherwise, you're going into that draft with a huge pressing need at edge that you got to use one of those first two picks on an edge.
And the Vikings, no doubt, can afford those two, but they also have other positions. They also need a corner, I think. They also need a guard. They also are in the running back mix. There are
to
other
your
needs.
Point there, Sam. You're right.
No, the running
to your
back,
point, though, Sam.
So much money.
Speaking of running back, play the sound.
Oh no,
another one.
Austin Eckler.
Not for the Vikings.
Austin Eckler.
Not for the Vikings. The Titans are expected to sign running back Tony Pollard.
Oh yeah.
Ooh. Okay, so Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry is on the market.
Officially is up for grabs.
Henry, we knew was leaving, but okay, Tony Pollard, and that's funny because I heard rumors, and maybe it was just a little free agent fatigue after a while, but I heard rumors that by the end of all this, Tony Pollard might just end up going back to Dallas. You pair him back up with Rico Dowell. Now, all of a sudden, now that he's gone out of Dallas, Dallas becomes one of the top teams, I feel like, to go sign a Derrick Henry or use one of the first, third round picks on a running back this upcoming draft. So that'll be interesting too.
Still calling the Raiders and Chargers swapping running backs. I think that's going to happen.
Jacobs and Eckler. I could see that. Okay.
I could definitely see that.
Yeah. Harbaugh would love Jacobs.
Make some weird AFC West revenge games.
Harbaugh would love Jacobs.
Yeah. David
Siskierski, Cook. Chop Robinson needs to be a Viking. Yes, sir.
I mean, but he said later in the draft. How's that?
I'm ignoring that part.
Yeah, I like Chop Robinson. I don't see it happening, especially if they don't get Kirk. I feel like then they move up for a quarterback.
That's crazy. I can't hear anything you're saying, Arif. I think you're muted.
All the more reason too. I feel like, man, if you can just hang tight at 11 and maybe one of those top quarterbacks falls in your lap. Probably not, but man, that's the dream for sure because they just don't have a lot of ammo and assets to just start giving away just to move all the way up to 5 or 3 or 7, whatever it may be. They have, like you said, Sam, they have too many pressing needs right now.
Both Kevin Seifert and Alec Lewis are suggesting that this is an indication that Daniel Hunter is gone. Again, I do think you could make that math work.
God, he's such a lion. We're gonna get punished. I know
lion or bear?
Oh God, he's a lion. Oh,
lion. He's gonna stay in the division, have the spiciest revenge game.
Oh,
put up like 4 sacks on Jaron Hall because we won't draft someone.
Well, he's a huge car guy. We know he's a car fanatic. Ford Field. Field.
Maybe he follows Eric.
You got to think about this stuff, guys. It doesn't
dumb.
get talked about enough.
Actually, where he should go is Dallas and go reunite with Zimmer. That would be the thing.
That would be fun.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Well, might as well bring back Harry
get
too.
on board with that.
Get Harry over there. Yeah.
Remember when Zimmer tried to hire Andre Patterson from the Giants for a lateral move?
We're getting numbers from the chat.
Remember when Anthony Barr was on the roster last year?
Oh yeah, we got
4 years.
Numbers.
We got numbers. 4 years,
Holy
76
crap,
mil.
Spielberger does not miss.
That is
Did he nail it?
The heck on.
Wow.
In terms of the total and guaranteed, he projected 52.5. They got him for 42 guaranteed.
42 guaranteed, 76. So a little more funny money on it.
Yep. That's a splash deal. I mean, and again, $139 million of cap next year. If you can just slightly backload the thing, have a low cap number up front, you've got the money down the road, and it looks like you're not going to have a $40 million Kirk number coming off that either. So the Vikings can get busy as long as they can fit it in this year's cap with some finagling. They can get busy today, tomorrow, during this tampering period. And that should be some form of solace. If you're upset about Cousins, think about the team that you can create. Like, there's still a very appealing path to put together an exciting team next year. If you're really active in free agency, you kill the draft, you get a rookie quarterback. No one know if you killed the draft until the season. But you can still, there's going to be a lot of hype about this team without Kirk Cousins, I think, as well. I think there's a lot of reason to get excited about the next era, to be honest with you.
Do you think Greenard fits better in this Flores system than Hunter? I know he's coming off that D'Amico Ryan system.
I don't think any particular player, especially Ed Rusher, fits better or worse than anyone else for the Flores.
For Flores, because it's just mix and match, do whatever you want.
Yeah, it's very adaptable. So it's very tailored in a way that a lot of defenses that say they're tailored are not.
People asking, and it's actually I'll post it because his name is Sam and my name is Sam. I would rather have Wilkins at this point. I would rather have a money defensive tackle to supplement the interior. What do you guys think?
I'd rather have Hunter.
I'm so torn.
Yeah, I would still rather have Hunter, but also there are 4 guys on a typical defensive line, 5 in the Flores. Right. So we do have multiple holes here.
Yeah, either one I would be jacked about. I think whoever's cheaper maybe at that point, which is probably Hunter. I think Wilkins is expected 29, 30 per, which probably a little too rich for my blood. But yeah, Hunter goes for what? What did Spielberger say about Hunter? 26 per?
I got you here.
7?
3 years.
22.5.
$2.5 million per year. 47.
And
so
Wilkins
it does
is
feel a little
25.
bit like if Greenard is a little worse than Hunter. I don't know anything about Greenard, so I don't know if I don't know what he's better than Hunter take or anything like that. But if he's a little bit worse and a little bit cheaper, and then you say, okay, we got a little more efficient there. Never my favorite thing to get worse to get cheaper, but that would have to be the logic.
Yeah, agreed.
Right. Yeah. Efficiency is only so useful, right? Because there's 11 players on the field at a time, which I know is groundbreaking, right? And at some point, you're right, you're going to lose marginal efficiency in order to put more total value on the field. That's why you pay so highly for free agents, right? It's because there's only 11 players on the field, and so you tap out on what you could do with efficiency. You could have the 11 most efficient players in value per dollar on the field and still have the worst team in the NFL. Mm-hmm. That is entirely possible because you can max out the number of players, right? So you still need to at some point sign in efficient players in order to maximize your value. That's just what happens because of the way contracts work and how their cost increases exponentially given the nature of the market, right? So that's why you pay more for small edges at the top. So if you get more efficient and worse, you absolutely need to get less efficient and better somewhere else.
It's got to balance out somewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And the
goal is to
gain,
have the best roster, not the cheapest one.
Right. And the total gain and total efficiency might be better, right? But that you have to end up doing that. So yeah, it's fine to, hey, maybe Greenard is a more efficient signing, but you have to do something with the gains that you got from the savings. Otherwise it's useless.
Luke, are you drinking rum?
Are you?
Yep.
We're also hearing
that
it's Grenard. Again,
Grenard.
always believe the chat. Grenard. Emphasis on
that's what Color tweeted. So he probably knows what he's talking about. But maybe
Grenard. That's a good source.
Like Bernard,
like Grinnell.
Barbarian.
Quick, yes. More Bernard Berrien references is what this show needs. Quick pause, and then more breaking news coming up on the Minnesota Football Party live Tampering edition show. It is brought to you by FanDuel. Say goodbye to busted brackets because FanDuel lets you bet on every game of the NCAA tournament, whether you're betting on the upsets or the one seeds. Time to go dancing. America's #1 sportsbook. New customers get $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. $200 to use on point spreads, money lines, whatever you want. You can bet the eventual champion as well. FanDuel.com/lockedon. FanDuel.com/lockedon. Bet college hoops. You can also bet NBA, NHL, and really any sport imaginable. Hundreds of lines, hundreds of ways to wager at FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app.
Play the sound.
On it.
Packers released David Bakhtiari.
Yeah, that makes sense.
How many games did he play over the last 3 years? 15?
Oh, if that, I feel like. That's what it feels like.
It's a good question, actually.
I should probably look it up, but I'll take the under.
He'll take the under 15.
Mm-hmm.
The answer is 13. That was a pretty good line on my part.
That was a great line. That was a great line. Yeah.
1, 11, and 1. The 3 seasons. At age 32, I don't know what the future holds for him, but
so what's the Packers?
Maybe he can play guard for the Vikings, Arif.
No, he's not a guard. Deion Dawkins, that's a guard. This guy, not a guard. Great comment.
Remember, it's not about being efficient.
Hey, I hate you all.
Being good, right? So what's the Packers tackle situation now looking like? I know they got Elton Jenkins, John Runyon on the inside.
Zach Tom out there?
Right tackle, Zach Tom.
Yeah.
So what's their left tackle situation?
Their left tackle situation looks like one of the 11 players in the draft. That's what it looks like to me.
There you go. Okay, fair enough.
They don't move Elton Jenkins out there?
Dude, they got what, 5 top 100
No, he's
picks?
too good at everything else.
Another signal the Vikings sent over the weekend is that they are good, waiting for TJ Hawkinson to get back. They re-signed Munt. They re-signed Nick Muse. And they still have Josh Oliver. Tough to imagine them bringing in a fourth body at tight end just to keep the seat warm for 4 games, especially if they're costing anything meaningful. I could see them drafting one. But I don't think they're going to be splash. I don't think Gerald Everett is coming to Minnesota. I think that it seems pretty clear that they're going to roll with what they have.
You're going to need somebody who's like okay with getting a 1-year deal, which is going to preclude a lot of the biggest names. But I think like a 1-year kind of veteran random placeholder guy, because you're not sure you're going to have him for the first half of the season, makes some sense.
How long do we think Hawkinson's out? Like a month?
I think
super hard to say.
I feel like
Pup, and then I'm going to guess like first half of the season.
Oh, really?
8 weeks. Interesting.
Yeah, because his surgery had to get delayed for a month because he was waiting for the MCL to heal.
Yeah.
So it all gets delayed a little bit. And then if you do the from the date of his surgery, if you do like 9 to 12 months, that is essentially like that range is the season.
If it's 9 months, that would be late October, correct?
If it's 9 months, yeah.
Late October.
No, it would be late September because he got it in January, right?
Yeah, but January
Pup
to
for
October
sure.
is 9. Month 1 to month 10, that's 9.
Month 1 to month 10.
Okay.
Yeah, so something
Yeah.
like that. Or he like there is absolutely a world where TJ
doing math
Hawkinson
on
isn't
this
there
now.
till like week 15.
Oh god.
Okay, yeah. So they could sign a 1-year deal at tight end. Probably not Gerald Everett though. And Hunter
Yeah.
Henry's off the market.
Yeah, I think that changed it. Jonnu Smith just got signed with the Dolphins yesterday too, right?
Crap.
Yeah, I think that changes things. If there's a setback at all, if they find out there's a setback, and obviously it's like, well, probably too late now because all these guys are gone. But yeah, I mean, the difference between pup list, okay, you come back week 4, week 6-ish versus what Luke is talking about, week 15, that's a huge, huge difference. So I know he loves Johnny Munt, KOC, that is, best number 3 tight end in the league. Josh
3.
Oliver, they paid all that money to. They obviously like the development prospect of a Nick Muse. But if you think there's any chance, even a 7% chance that he doesn't play till week 14 or 15, I think you do have to consider, maybe drafting a guy on day 3 or, going to bring in a veteran probably makes more sense that he can come in right away and help fill those shoes a little bit.
This is a really good tweet from Mina Kimes back on the Grenard acquisition. She said that Grenard finished 6th in ESPN's pass rush win rate, which answers someone's question in the chat, but also pointing out that Houston didn't blitz much. And I checked this. They were 5th lowest in blitz percentage. So having somebody that can win with a 4-man rush, mind blown.
Right.
I love that. That's exactly what last year's team needed.
Yes. They need guys that can win their one-on-one matchups. Yes. So they don't have to blitz 5-6 guys every time. Absolutely. Yeah, that could be huge. Yep.
Very true, Lauren. We have Nick Muse. We'll be fine.
Fine.
There it is.
Ooh. Deanna Rossini, the Giants and Vikings also had their eye on Tony Pollard.
Wait, are you reading the tweet or are you reading chat? Because I'm checking to see.
I'm reading
no, that was that's a tweet.
Deanna.
Okay.
Yeah, Rossini. Interesting.
I feel like Rossini she is rocketing up the breaking news power rankings in the last year.
She's in the know. Yeah.
Yeah, right. She was killing it on the Washington beat for a while, and then started breaking outside of the Washington beat. Started leaking some draft picks. She's connected.
I still can't get over Spielberger, man. Just
nailing
spot on.
It's crazy.
Years in the total. Yeah.
I'm so glad I don't have to find out how to get good at that. I can just copy his work.
Yeah.
It's great.
And he's very comfortable with that too.
Will he be in the war room or a GM type of position someday?
That actually is a pretty valuable skill that he may be.
I don't know if he wants to.
If you read Matthew Collar's fantastic book about PFF, a lot of defections right now, a lot of changes in that company, a lot of the old guard could be on its way out. Not breaking any news here; it's just in the book. But I wouldn't be surprised if there were opportunities that arise for some of those dudes. And I think Zach Robinson, the Kirk Cousins potential next OC, I believe he worked at PFF. If I'm not mistaken.
He did.
Yes.
No, he did.
Yes, he did.
Right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, he did. So I think most of what Collar is getting at is people leaving PFF for other media ventures. I think Spielberger, first of all, his skill set will be valuable anywhere, media or whatever. But I think that him being in a front office is a different in character and kind than what Collar was talking about. Which is not to say, obviously, that Collar is wrong. I think that he's correct. But that is a pretty valuable skill. Now, every front office has that guy, but it also suggests that you should get that guy if he's available. So,
Yeah. What does the Tony Pollard interest tell us as far as maybe the Vikings maybe looking to make a mini splash at running back to pair up with Ty Chandler? Maybe not Barkley, who's at the top of the food chain, 10, 11, 12, although
Eagles interested in Barkley per Connor Hughes. Eagles would pay $12 million.
That's funny. That's
for
funny.
Barkley.
I love that.
That's hilarious.
That's funny.
And then where's Derrick Henry going? I mean, there's a lot of them. You don't even need to stop at Derrick Henry. Austin Eckler, Josh Jacobs. Okay, DeAndre Swift is gone now, but there's a lot of them, man. Alexander Madison. This guy Alexander Madison. I don't know if you heard of him. He could fit with Ty Chandler, maybe.
All right. So Luke Inman had half of this like 2 days ago, so he's the real. answer here, but give it to us.
Kevin Seifert. Vikings have re-signed 2 of their own offensive linemen, David Quessenberry and Blake Brandell. Still awaiting word on whether Dalton Reisner will be part of their future plans.
So the David Quessenberry was the sound part.
Yeah, we kind of knew about Brandell.
I mean, this
also,
is not,
it's like pretty clearly easy move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Vikings adore continuity on the offensive line, even for like the 9th and 10th guys.
Does this count? Does that count?
Quessenberry joined middle of the season, right?
Quessenberry played. He started a game.
Yeah, he played.
He started.
He was like a mid-season signing when people started getting hurt.
He
right?
started.
Yeah.
I sat next to his wife at one of the games when he was starting.
No one disagrees with any of this. Why are you acting like he joined in the middle of the season? He played. Yeah. So both of those.
Why are you guys yelling?
Were you questioning their love of continuity, Arif? I'm confused. I was confused by your comment.
I just I don't know if it counts if it's a backup, honestly.
That's why I was asking. Yeah, as a backup,
yeah,
but
also
like 2 years in a row.
Is that because he didn't do camp here? So is that continuity?
Right, but also like continuity for a guy who shows up halfway through the season. It's like I don't know. They signed him because they had an exclusive negotiating window.
They value familiarity.
Sure.
They want to get dudes that have
yeah.
had the playbook,
But
less learning curve.
Is that different than the
He
last?
held his
front
own
office?
when he got out there too. I like it.
Yeah,
Fine.
the Vikings had
it's fine.
it was a rare season where dudes that they threw in with like no practice on the offensive line were pretty good. Reisner,
Practice
Quessenberry.
less. The lesson we learned from Joshua Dobbs: practice less.
the 2023
start
Minnesota
thinking too much
Vikings
otherwise.
practice less.
I'm trying to get you guys to give me a running back that gets you excited that maybe the Vikings would go after, and you're not really playing.
Any of
Josh
us.
I
Jacobs.
said Eckler about a month
Name a
ago
guy.
and got
Okay,
ridiculed.
you said Eckler.
Okay, actually, yeah, I don't like Eckler.
Okay.
Eckler might be a little cooked. I like just get Saquon. It's fine.
I
Yeah, how
think
much-
It's
this
like
is what I
once
was
you start
asking, how
talking
much
about
did-
Jacobs and Henry, it's like just go get Saquon then.
Just get Saquon.
Do we
that
have
point.
numbers on Pollard? Because that will actually answer
Yeah,
the
Good
question.
question.
same as DeAndre
in
Swift.
the Vikings
3 for
are.
24.
It was
3 for
Yeah.
24.
Really?
Yeah, these guys are making Josh Oliver money. Go get a good one.
Josh Oliver's making the same amount of money as these guys.
$2 million
Oh,
for
man.
Quessenberry.
Running backs are free. Go get them.
Wow. That
3
is
for
just-
24 is a bit much for Pollard for me. But it does suggest maybe the Vikings are in on a running back, so that makes sense. So let's take a look. We have materialized a Derrick Henry on the market, right?
Mhm.
We don't have Tony Pollard. We don't have DeAndre Swift. So
What about
with
Singletary?
Saquon, I like him. Get him.
Honestly, I like
Yeah,
Singletary. I
more
thought
responsible option.
He's actually low-key, not just last year with the Texans, but the last 3 years, he's been productive. And I think he flies under the radar a lot. I will say, if you're going to go the route of a Singletary, I kind of like taking a stab at one of these running backs in this, I think is better than advertised class in like round 4 or 5 and getting doubling up on another Ty Chandler. Jalen Wright from Tennessee, I know somebody just mentioned, but there's a ton of them. There's a lot of good running backs in this class too.
Gosh, he's 5'7". That's crazy. Singletary.
I know.
Slippery little guy.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
That's good
But
of
it's
us as a
totally
running back.
valid.
No, I'm a fan.
Yeah. Low center of gravity.
Yep.
Yeah, all right.
And
I'm
both.
checking on a claim made by the chat about something Jeremy Fowler may or may not have said.
Yeah, I see
Vikings
it.
dedicated to improving the defense. No, that's not. Oh yeah, also
Yeah.
shown interest in Chris Wilkins and have inquired on cornerback L'Jarius Sneed. A lot of options for Minnesota. Okay,
Which
We've
I
got-
think Fowler already had reported both of those things.
yeah,
Yeah.
But, you know,
so with
it's nice.
Snead,
But, you know.
Snead, obviously you acquire and then extend. That's a 19-ish. I think it's $19 million this year. You're going to want to lower that, but I'm a fan of getting another big veteran corner in here. I think that's
that would be
kind of a
really
must.
sick if they
Yeah.
found a way
Snead
to
is
land
good.
L'Jarius Sneed.
Sneed is good. How much would the trade cost? I mean, it is a 1-year deal that you're trading for, right?
Yeah,
So-
you're signing, and then it's always going to be like less than you think because there's a contract in it too. You know?
yeah,
The Vikings don't have a third, correct?
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say a third round.
They have
pick.
2 fourths. So
2
it's
fourths, 2
close-ish.
fifths, 2 6, though, right?
Yeah.
Was that including comp picks they were supposed to get but didn't get?
They didn't get any
No.
comp picks. They still.
I don't
have-
think anyone projected them to get comp picks. So the fact
I thought
that
they were
didn't
supposed to
it-
get a couple day 3 ones, but
No,
whatever.
they got Cleveland's 5th, so they got 2 5ths there. Actually,
that's a Darius
their
Smith
original
pick.
5th away. They have the Chiefs and Cleveland's 5th. They got Detroit's 4th. The 6th, Carolina's 6th, which is first pick.
What's that
in the
from?
6th round. Let's go. I don't know. Carolina.
So
draft,
some
maybe?
people in the chat, Hunter and Grenard will cancel out comp pick wise. Cousins will get him a 3rd.
Well, going
then-
forward, yeah, we're just talking about this year's
Going,
comp
yeah.
picks.
Got it.
Yeah,
I'm just
it'll all go in and out and cancel weirdly.
Yeah.
But
Once
I'm
again,
just trying to see
San
who
Francisco
counts.
wins the comp pick lottery. They get like 9 comp picks again, which they'll use
That's
on
what happens
a
when you have
punter
good
or
players
something.
and let them walk. You have to be comfortable letting them walk, though.
It's true. Yeah.
Like I remember actually a couple of days ago, someone was like, "Hey, Buffalo should get used to the comp pick game," and I was like, "No, they shouldn't. They're cutting everybody. There's no comp picks there. You just cut guys. You can't get comp picks for those guys."
Right.
The Vikings did not add void years did not shorten Hunter's contract through the use of void years, correct?
Right.
Is that okay? Good. Okay, so
Yeah,
then
he
is
served his
eligible.
like max possible term or whatever the deal
Okay.
is. So he does count toward the formula, but yeah, he'll probably get canceled out because the Vikings are probably going to have to sign a lot of people here.
Yeah. Speaking of tight ends, the Bengals just re-signed Drew Sample. I didn't think that was sound worthy, but make your own choice, Sam. Okay.
Phenomenal way to end the show.
John Pakish asks, "Is Snead going to cover for 5 seconds? We need pass rush." First of all, yeah, yeah, he can. I don't know if you saw some of the Chiefs' pass rush. When Chris Jones was not out there, it was not good. Snead's pretty good. But yeah, they just signed Grenard, I guess is the name. They just signed Grenard, so I guess they've got some sort of solution coming for pass rush.
Can I make fun
It's
of
something.
ML football, our favorite
Yes.
aggregator?
Yes, please.
You can always
Going
make
out
fun
on-
of
just-
aggregators.
Just going out on a major limb here. Kirk Cousins to the Falcons is strongly heating up, according to a source.
Is that an
Kirk
attempt to
Cousins- wow.
actually do sourced reporting?
No,
I mean, it's probably
it
fake,
is.
but
I think it's pretending. Okay, yeah, then yeah.
yeah, probably lying, but not just like aggregating someone else's work and not linking to it.
Yeah.
Dude,
Great.
is Daniil Hunter going to Chicago or Detroit?
You know,
We're
you
thinking
always
so.
know it.
I think it's possible.
Good,
Yeah.
good.
Anyway, I wanted to add that the Vikings did not face a very long time to throw last year, despite not having a pass rush. So I don't think it's completely fair to argue that like they need corners that can cover for 5 seconds because they don't have a pass rush.
That's probably because all the like super.
Yeah, it's all the blitzing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's all the
Yeah.
blitzing. Not like, but
Yeah.
like they force people to throw quickly.
Uh-oh.
What do we got?
Not saying she knows anything. Maybe she does. Maybe she doesn't. But Courtney Cronin jumping on the Grenard signing and saying, and remember, Bears reporter Courtney Cronin, keep an eye on what's next for DE Daniil Hunter.
That's what I just said. He's going to Chicago or Detroit.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
unbelievable. Yikes.
You could just feel it in the stars, though, right? I mean,
God, that
Well,
hurts.
Darrisaw's already got reps, and O'Neal already has reps against him for the
Yep.
past.
Can you
5
look at it
years.
as
Right.
unemotionally as possible, though, and say
Fine.
Hunter's turning 30, Grenard's
Yeah.
turning 27.
No, Yeah,
It
I get
it makes
He's
sense.
more in his peak for sure. He's
hey,
not
that's
as
the bet
good.
Quasey's he's making.
He's not as good as Hunter, in my opinion. But you're right. Over the long haul, talked about efficiency a lot in this past hour. I think it does make sense. I'm interested to see again what Hunter's contract ends up looking like too, and comparing it apples to apples to Jonathan now. But yeah, it still kind of stings, man. It's just tough. I wonder if this affects Harrison Smith's decision at all. Maybe he was leaning towards staying, taking the pay cut, restructure. I'll play for cheap. I don't care. I just want to stay here. And now
One
you
less
see
good
one of your
pal.
boys. Yeah, you see one of your boys that you've been here, since the get-go, 2015, whatever the draft that was. And maybe it
Got to get Eric Kendricks back in here for cheat. Go 1 for 1
out there. That's funny.
No, he's going to Dallas. Reunite with Zimmer.
Oh, right, where he'll meet with Daniil Hunter and
J-Ron.
Harrison Smith after a release.
Shamar
Yeah,
Stephen,
and
future
then Anthony
top
Barr
pick.
is the midseason signing for Shamar.
Anthony Barr's return to Dallas.
Gerald Hodges,
Gerald Hodges.
Mike
I
Mowdy.
think that Smith's relationship with Flores will dictate a lot too. Like Flores used him in a way that I think Smith really enjoyed.
Yeah.
But also, Brian Flores is not for everybody. Like he rubbed 2 members of his coaching staff the wrong way, and he like kind of tore apart that defensive coaching staff last year because he was very like my way or the highway.
And you're right. That certainly plays a factor. I will say everything I've heard Harrison Smith say, and when he speaks about Flores' system, it's all very. He's glowing. I feel like he's having fun a little bit again in his career. The way he's being used.
In part, he was like a chicken that had just become free range, right? Like he was.
I love it. That is so good. Yes,
he finally got to see the light.
He's free.
He's free. Like under Ed Donatel, he was caged
in the cage. Yep.
So Flores was like, "Hey man, here's some grass," and he's like, "Oh my god, have you guys?"
I don't know if I'll ever forgive Ed Donatel for going through an entire season and blitzing Harrison freaking Smith like 6 times.
6 times, dude.
It's where did your brain fall out?
Disgusting.
We got to go back a couple exits and find it.
So yeah, he might be overly attached to Brian Flores because of like kind of like the rebound of, you know.
Boy, Montez Sweat just tweeted, "We making some moves." Fire emoji, fire emoji, bear down.
Do you have any eye emojis? Just fire emojis, not eye emojis?
Nope, just 4 fires. 4 fire emojis. So
fire emojis.
Another edge.
Yeah.
Tweeting about making moves.
Uh-oh.
I think it's happening, guys.
I think it's happening.
Good. Chicago.
And we deserve this 3.5 sack. Week 5
now
game.
go get Wilkins.
now Wilkins? Wilkins now, King?
Please? Wilkins ready? Tonight, Queen?
Are we ready? I'm ready.
Yikes. Bears are putting
again. The goal is to get better this offseason. How are you going to get better? Not just end up neutral. It feels like right now we're just trying. Like the goal is just to end up at neutral. And
with Snead would be better. Snead would be a big step toward that.
Am I trading draft picks for Snead?
Yeah,
I think so.
Okay, I don't really want to.
Although someone said Rossini reported that a first-round pick would be required for Snead. That seems exorbitant.
I'm not doing that.
That seems exorbitant for an expiring.
Yeah, that's probably takes the Vikings out of things if they're still trying to figure out how to get a quarterback.
No way. I need these picks.
Here's another sound opportunity, Sam.
He sounds very happy.
Take that.
Well, it's just uninteresting, and I don't like that Sam wants to use the sound for every signing, but okay.
You don't.
He opened the door.
The Titans are signing former Broncos center Lloyd Cushenberry. Great.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah,
it does.
Brian Callahan.
Yeah.
A Cushenberry-Quessenberry combo today would have been fun to say, but I think Bradbury's here for another year.
Yeah,
we gotta have 2 berries always.
Was it The Athletic that was like, "Hey, I don't know about this Garrett Bradbury guy"? There was a story a couple of weeks or in the past 2 weeks about how Garrett Bradbury may not be super long for Minnesota.
I've got to refresh my memory on like where Bradbury ended up last year because obviously he had the resurgent 2022.
You talking about PFF grades?
More or less. That's kind of a starting point. I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, just from watching him, meh.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, like there's the whole element of him kind of managing communication and helping Cousins with protection, stuff like that. But Cousins just did a lot of it, so it's pretty tough to parse out, what Bradbury provides outside of snapping and blocking, which is a really crucial part of.
And he stopped run blocking like really well. That was always his bread and butter, and that for everybody, not just Bradbury, has been like a huge issue.
I think it's still that they like asked a lot less of him in the mid zone world than the outside zone, like Kubiak world asked of him. Like he wasn't reaching quite as often, which like changes the way that he would like set and the way that he would like start off on plays, and it would change some stuff on pass pro too. And I think that has helped him just by making his job easier, which is like kind of like what's the value of that, right? Because now somebody else is picking up slack for you, but that somebody else is Darisaw, so we're Gucci.
Right. Also, like his skills, he's like the reach block god. right? So if like
Or he was, but like at what cost?
Right.
I guess, yeah,
right. And so if you're getting rid of that element of the offense, like, what do you do here? What's
mid-zone.
your job, Chief? Yeah.
Okay, I know we're wrapping up here, Sam. Final guesses. Kirk Cousins, will he be a Minnesota Viking? Yes or no?
No.
I'm going to say yes. I'm changing my tune. I think Kirk wants to come back really bad. I think Julie and the family wants to stay. I think KOC wants him back. I think the longer this goes on, I think the Atlanta offer maybe not as big or as appealing as maybe what was first reported. I think they find a way.
You sound like you got a text, man.
That sounds, that is like far too optimistic to just be off the top of your head.
No, but let's just keep
Julie?
this friendly. Does anybody want to gamble or bet on it? Just, keep it friendly.
I've had enough betting.
You're done with that. I got $650 on this Dick's card. Anybody want to go toe to toe?
Are you saying
Are you saying
that it's happening?
Anybody? I'll take you a trip to Costco.
Yeah, man.
You want one more sound for the road,
That's
Sam?
just my guess, man. No, I don't have any inside
my
sources
guess
or
with a
anything.
lot of very specific reasoning behind it.
One more sound for the road, Sam.
Yep.
According to Jordan Schultz, free agent defensive tackle Dorrance Armstrong close to finalizing a deal with the Washington Commanders. Reuniting with
How
Dan
far
Quinn.
they've fallen.
Okay, not a Viking. So the only thing that gives me any kind of Cousins back to Vikings optimism is that we're an hour 16 in. We don't have anything ironclad, but also, I mean, it doesn't always happen right away. There's a lot of guys that haven't. What?
Play the sound.
Ironclad?
Jag signed Mitch Morse $10.5 million over 2 years.
That was like 7 a.m.
Yeah, but not with the numbers.
Pretty sure it was the numbers too.
That's why people stick around till the end of the show. They got it out for this 66 minutes, excuse me.
Hey, so there's 473 people in here right now. If you could all just hit subscribe, that would be great.
Do it.
It's actually just one guy with 400 windows open. It's just one guy with 400.
It's Random Planet, our biggest fan
our
on
guy.
the Postcast. Random Planet. Thank you. We love you. Check out Luke Inman on all the post-game shows for the Wolves, Twins coming up. Arif Hassan, Wide Left Substack. Luke Braun, Locked on Vikings. He's probably going to go scurry and record a Jonathan Grenard episode. And Ron Johnson
Play the sound.
will be. What's up? Play the sound.
Play the sound.
Yeah, we got one
Not
more.
done yet.
Jaguars signed Gabe Davis to a 3-year deal.
I like that.
Jags, they get Cleveland back. They get Morris. They get Davis. Doug Peterson, Trevor Lawrence.
Alessandro says,
So what does that mean for
Gabe
Calvin
Davis
Ridley?
is the most Jaguars player of all time. I don't know what you mean by that, but that feels true, actually.
It does feel really true.
Yeah.
What does that mean for Calvin Ridley? Is he toast?
No, he'll be fine.
He's
The question
staying
is
in
what it means
Jacksonville.
for Zay Jones.
So they have to give Atlanta a second-round pick if he stays, if they sign him to a long-term contract, correct? And if not, if he just
unless his
leaves, they have to
contract
give him a third.
expires and then they sign him.
Oh, there's a loophole, you're saying?
Yeah, it's stupid.
Okay. But either way, do they still have to give a draft pick? Is it a third rounder no matter what? Or you're saying there's this loophole?
Yeah, the condition is the loophole. The draft pick, they still have to give up a draft pick.
Got it.
Okay. Yeah, Ron Johnson show tomorrow. He's going to have some takes, folks. So make sure to check that out. We will be back on Thursday to react to everything that happens in the next 72 hours as free agency officially begins here on the Minnesota Football Party. Thank you for watching and interacting and live fact-checking us about Red McCombs being dead or alive. We appreciate it.
I don't think chat lied to us once, at least that I saw. That's incredible.
Well, they intentionally were like someone's like
that
Red McCombs was at Quick Trip this morning.
That doesn't count.
Other
That was
than
obviously
yeah.
Other than that,
good job, chat. Good work, everybody.
I love crowdsourcing in real time. That's the show. Thank you for watching the Minnesota Football Party.
Scam. Do not
on Locked On Sports Minnesota. Later.